Welcome to WeLearn. In this tutorial, we are going to learn the basics to advanced CSS using a project-based approach. Yes, we are going to build a project at the end of this tutorial, putting everything together to build a nice, responsive website at the end of this tutorial. Before taking this tutorial, you must know the basics of HTML, which describes the structure of web pages. Thinking of where to take this HTML tutorial, we've got you covered. There is a link in the description below, which is a playlist of HTML tutorial for beginners. Yes, right in the description below. CSS is a language that describes the style of an HTML document. CSS describes how HTML elements should be displayed. This tutorial will teach you CSS from basic to advanced using the external approach. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe and give us a thumb up by liking our video. Let's jump into today's tutorial without wasting much time. So, talking about CSS, what is CSS? Yes, you've heard of CSS. What is CSS? No, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. Cascading Style Sheet. CSS describes how HTML elements are to be displayed on screen, paper, or in other media. CSS saves a lot of work. It saves a lot of work. It can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. External style sheets are stored in CSS files. Yes, external style sheets, they are stored in CSS file. Someone will ask, why use CSS? Why use CSS? CSS is used to define styles for your web pages. It is used to define styles for your web page, including the design, layout, the variation in display for different devices and screen. Now let's take a look at CSS syntax and selectors. CSS syntax and selectors. So this is a CSS selector. Yes, CSS selector. With a CSS, a CSS rule set consists of a selector and declaration. Yes, a selector and declaration. So right now we have the H1 being the selector, H1 being the selector, and color blue being the declaration. Color blue being the declaration. With the color blue being the declaration, the color is the property and the blue is the value. Color is the property and the blue is the value. The selector points to the HTML element you want to style. That's what the selector does. It points to the HTML element you want to style. The declaration block contains one or more declarations separated by a semicolon. One or more declarations separated by a semicolon. So we have this declaration block here. So that means we are styling the H1 element, we are changing the color, and we have another declaration block changing the same changing the same selector. That's the H1. We are changing the font size. So with this, the font size and the 12 is a declaration. The font size is the property, and each value is the 12 pixel. Now each declaration includes a CSS property name and value separated by a colon. Yeah. So we have this here. You can see color separated by this colon, and the declaration block is separated by a semicolon. Declaration block is separated by a semicolon. The element selector. So with this, we have this declaration here, its property and its value. So property value pair. So declaration, you can define many declarations. So there can be multiple declaration blocks in your CSS selector. Many, you can have 5, as many as you want. Yes, how you want to style it to suit your liking. So next we are taking a look at types of selectors. We have element selector, ID selector, and class selector. Element selector, ID selector, and class selector. So the element selector, you can select an element, say H2. Yes, H2, and just style it. Call on the tag name, and then you style it. You call on the H2, and then you style it. And talking about the ID selector, uses the ID attributes of an element to select a specific element. The ID of an element should be unique within a page. The ID should be unique within a page. So the ID selector is used to select one unique element. It is used to select one unique element. To select an element with a specific ID, you write the hash character followed by the ID of the element. Hash character followed by the ID. We are going to look at how these are being used. We are going to look at how these selectors are being used. So don't worry, just let's stick to this presentation right now. After that, we are going to get enhanced data. You are really going to enjoy it. So you must also keep in mind that an ID name cannot start with a number. An ID name cannot start with a number. Next, let's take a look at class selector. So class selector elements with to select elements with a specific class, we write the period character. Yes, the period character followed by the name of the class. So the period followed by the name of the class. Period followed by the name of the class. That's how it goes. So now let's take a look at this. For instance, this HTML document. We have this nice index here, our HTML documents here, and our CSS, and this is the output on the right hand side. So with this, we can select the h2 using the element name. So the tag name h2, we just call the tag name h2 and then style it with our declaration blocks. We have two. So the font size being forum and the color being red. Font size. Our focus is on the element selector. Next, we have an ID selector. So with this, we use the hash sign. So ID, this is the ID attribute. If you are calling on this to start this div, we use the hash and the followed by the name of it. Hash followed by the name of it. Yes, that's how the ID selector is being used. Next, we have the class. So class, we just call the name, use period, then the class name, period and the class name, and then you style it. Period, class name, and then you style it. Period, class name, and you style. So this is how it works. So you can select it using the element, the ID, the class name. Keep in mind the ID should be unique and shouldn't start with a number. It should be unique and shouldn't start with a number. For the class, you can apply it to multiple elements as you want. The same class name can go to different elements as you want, but for the ID ones, that should be unique within your document. Now, talking about this, we are come to take a look or talk about group selectors. Yes, group selected. So you can see on this, we have h2, the paragraph, p tag, and then the span. h2, paragraph, p tag, and the span. So what we have on the right side, we are styling. We call the elements, give it a font size and a color. The paragraph, font size and color. You can see that they all have the same declaration block, the same styling style, the same styling. So the declaration, font size, all four, color red. But you can do it simple like this, and this more appropriate. Yes, like writing h2, comma, p, comma, and span, and then the declaration blocks comes within the curly braces. Yes, with this you are going to save time and lines, saving time and lines of code. And no, you must always keep in mind that you should try your best not to repeat codes. So with this, we've saved lines. This like 4 lines, but with this have like 15 lines. 4 lines, 15 lines. So the 4 lines is saving more time. So we are saying that this 4 line is more appropriate than this 15 lines. It's more appropriate than this 15 lines, and I hope you stick to this one than this. So next, we are done with the introductory aspect of CSS for this tutorial. We are going to get enhanced data in the next tutorial. We are going to really get enhanced data in the next tutorial. Thanks for sticking with us, and let's hop into the next tutorial.